Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Our Life. So last time we met Cove and he was just a beautiful 8-year-old boy. Oh god. And we're 8 years old too, so it's okay. And he ran away from home, but we found him and we became friends with him. And then we met our sister who's kind of mean, but you know, we're all learning to get along. So we need to go out on one of these moments, and I think the first one we'll choose is, well, I mean, why not Sandcastle? Let's do that. That's a kid thing. I don't think these memories or moments matter which order you choose them in, apparently, so. Cove wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you, him, and Shiloh sat out on the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water. But there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon. The waves washed a single shell to the shore, glittering in blue, another reminder of the places he couldn't go. From what you'd heard about Cove's old life so far, in tiny pieces and fragments, you could tell that he'd do anything to be able to get that cast off. The possibilities of what he might get up to made you anxious. Oh my god, he's just 8! You're too young, kids! You thought about how this summer last year must have been totally different from this, with his old home and his mom and dad. But now he was here with you and Shiloh and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go into the sea. This town wasn't bad. It had all your favorite things in it, but sitting there on the same beach you'd grown up on, you could understand that not everybody else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. You watched him from the corner of your eye quietly, and he finally said aloud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in. The water? Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you can, just don't put your arm in it. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna be able to do it soon. Cove only sighed in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough. Lizzie's our sister. Show some respect. She'll kick your butt. It's so pretty. The ocean. And huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids.
Yeah!
I wish he didn't have a cast. Well, I don't know how that's gonna make him feel better. Swimming might be fun if we could. I'm fine here online. Swimming would be fun if we could. Oh, also, guys, I forgot to mention, there was a recent patch to the game that added, like, several hundred new names. Voice names for Cove to say. And so I chose this name instead of the default one, Jamie. And yeah. Anyway. But it's not like there's anything we can do about it. I had to replay through all the way up until where we had stopped last time, after I chose that new name, because you can't change it mid-game, I don't think. Anyway. Obviously not interested in hearing much more of your input on the situation, Cove turned back into the water. But as he looked away, something about Shiloh's slow, careful movements caught his eye. Hey, are you building a sandcastle? Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening. Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before. What does that mean? Just big lumps of sand? It's nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away. Well, okay, how do you do it then? Shiloh's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was a little bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare on him. I'll play too. I love making sand and stuff. I never really made one before. How about I love making sand and stuff? I don't... Because my rating last time was indifference. So I'm trying not to be indifferent anymore. I don't think I can be indifferent if I want Ko to fall in love with me. He puts his hands back to his seashells and sand and nodded. I need the word seashell to stop appearing in this VN because I have trouble pronouncing it. I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started. Shiloh, focusing more intently than you'd ever seen him, guided Ko through the process. You happily used your own method. Uh-oh. Oh, goodness. Ugh. Excuse me. It didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared. That's all, kind of. You can do anything now. Like, make it bigger, add some seashells, carve a pretty pattern. I bet you'll have great ideas.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine is gonna be a real castle.
Cool.
This is gonna be a house. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make... My choices don't matter, but I was indifferent. Will Ko fall in love with an indifferent little boy? I don't know. But if you say so. A house, a castle, a mansion. So I don't know, castle? Whatever. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decide to build a fancy castle. Okay, awesome. We're a really inventive little boy, aren't we? We looked at our sandcastle and we said it was a castle. Great. We have no imagination. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your work. The boys were the same. Hey, why do you refer to them like the boys? I'm one of the boys. Hello? Hello? How do I get to my character profile sheet? Can I even do that right now? No, don't do that. I don't think I can do that right now. Whatever, but... How dare you call them the boys? I'm one of the boys. We're da boys together. Trademark. Even Shiloh didn't sneak as many peeks at everyone else as he usually did. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you'd built. It seems you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Shiloh had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff, and Cove had a lot of the shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached for was a red bottle cap, eel, blue seashell, sea glass. Do you mean a broken bottle? Okay, let's just get that broken bottle energy out here. A lot of drug users frequent this beach. A lot of alcoholics. They just break their bottles right on the sand. Great, let's add that to our castle. It was the best fit for your castle, you decided. Oops. It was see-through and sparkly, so you tucked it away somewhere secure inside, barely poking out to make sure it didn't get lost. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around that wasn't focused on the sand itself. Both Cove and Shiloh seemed super immersed still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at either one's work. You checked out Cove, Shiloh... let's check out Cove's. Why would I be checking out that little boy's? I mean Shiloh, isn't that little boy. The castle Cove had built surprisingly looked tidy, especially for someone in a cast. He must have worked really hard. He wasn't even finished digging the huge gaping moat in front, but it was already enormous. You got the sense from the enthusiasm he was digging with that... You got the sense from the enthusiasm he was digging with that the doctor was probably going to find a bunch of sand when he finally removed the pink plaster. The silence was then broken. What's on top of yours, Shiloh? You peeked closer and something shiny sticking out of Shiloh's sand chimney. Ew. Oh, it's just a gum wrapper. It looks like smoke. And I even got some free gum out of it. I had to pull it out of the wrapper. It was all chewed though, but it was nice.
Thanks.
It was already soft. It's good. That's a start. Kids, man, absolutely disgusting. Kind of looks more like a worm. You should be an architect. Yeah, you should be an architect. You'd be good at it, Shiloh. Shiloh smiled without a word. And that was that for the current topic. What? Joseph, can I see what you did? Sure. He began surveying your work. The castle you built was pretty impressive, all things considered. It had archways, tall walls, and even a little moat circling it. You'd probably feel safe living there. Maybe your moms were the queens. They already are queens. Okay, Joseph, we don't need you saying that maybe they'd be queens. Shiloh quickly decided to jump in the new conversation. Hey, Joseph, what did you do? I made a castle. Shiloh didn't look so happy anymore. Okay, well, sorry, Shiloh. What? You both built castles? What?
Yeah.
Why am I being attacked out here? Just crucify me, why don't you? Aw, that's neat, how you guys match. It's too bad we didn't all do it. Next time we should. Actually, next time, Shiloh, you should mind your own business and let Cove and I be alone together, thanks. Wouldn't that be boring? If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special. Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff. People too. My dad always says how everybody is their own man, a real individual. I don't think I'm very special.
Why?
Why not? Nobody else is you. Shiloh simply shook his head. I'm not different. A beat passed between the two. Coven looked out at his own work again. Okay. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off again. There was a moment of silence. Shiloh shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think he noticed that Shiloh was going to talk. Is this child depressed? Who, Shiloh? I think so, maybe. He has low self-esteem. Hey, do you know what happened when your moms met my dad, Joseph? You blinked, not expecting the question. You thought hard. I wasn't there, they didn't tell me. I remember what happened when I met your dad. Mr. Holden had been a weird stranger then, but... well, he was still kind of a strange. No other parent acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad talked to him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued. Oh, well, I was there. I don't think my mom has met your dad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Joseph's parents and my dad met the same day I met them. I'm gonna say what happened. Shiloh frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could tell he was still upset about not being included in Cove's choice of topic. That was kind of boring for him, though giving people their own turn to say the things they want is important too. Alright, well, we're just a little diplomat out here. You stayed silent, let Cove finish his story. Sorry, Shiloh, to the back of the line, you can talk later. If we're still around, if we still want to hang out with you later. Shiloh could talk about this. I'm being so mean to the little boy. Shiloh could talk about this stuff after Cove had a chance to share what he planned on. After all, if we have to rate who's more important, I think we know who. I don't think Shiloh's gonna put out in the future. When we moved here, when we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us. Only some stuff that would fit in Dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat in there while Dad brought it all inside.
Mm.
I didn't want to get out because I knew Dad would make me look around the new house. I really didn't want to do that. His lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too and stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed. He waved his hand and went over to the front of your house where he started talking to them. I don't know what they said. I couldn't hear it. But he couldn't see me anymore since he was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and went behind the houses. I found those hills there. The ones where we met for the first time. Cove nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything more. Sorry, Shiloh, you're not in the trailer. Yeah, wait, was he not in the he wasn't in the trailer at all? Is there not an older version of Shiloh? Oh my god, sorry Shiloh, like, this is the last we'll ever see of you. Is that it? Cove's brow winkled, like he didn't understand why you were surprised.
Huh?
That's all that happened. Why did you want to tell me that boring story if nothing happened? You gotta get better at telling stories. Thanks for telling me. Oh my god, I want to burn him. Oh my god. Let's try to be constructive. Why did you... Let's try to be constructive. Why did you tell me that story if nothing happened? We gotta... that could help him tell better stories in the future. He needs to, like, analyze himself. I love this. I love burning children. It kind of didn't have a point. But that was how our parents met. I didn't make up the story, but it was boring. That's not really my point. Cove is just not understanding the issue here. You're boring, Cove. That's the issue here. God, you're so lucky you turned into a hot man in the future. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. Shiloh's mouth twisted into a scowl of disbelief, but he said nothing. Why'd you bring that up anyway? There was a slight shrug of Cove's shoulders.
Wow.
I was thinking about it because of the sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved here. Dad showed me the beach first before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cove's brow furrowed a little more as he quietly raked his hands through the sand. I get it. You thought maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach and was instead hoping Cove might be. Real trust is burning those you love. Oh my gosh. But the line of conversation had come to its end. Even Cove was done with it. Some other topics had popped into his head. Shiloh fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand had made Cove aware of his presence. They looked at each other, and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey, Shiloh. Yeah? Why are you always turning so red, even when nothing is happening? Okay, well, you're kind of red too right now, Cove, so... You want to go for... You want to try this? Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Shiloh had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again. I don't know, I guess. Okay, it's kind of weird. Oh, are you trying a burn right now, Cove? When I did it to you, it was justified. You stay away from Shiloh, you hear me? Shiloh's eyes were wide with embarrassment, and his lips twitched, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this. Perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was a big deal to Shiloh. A huge deal. He didn't look just sad, he almost seemed panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but you soon got an answer. Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Cove.
Who asked you to come?
It was probably just your dad bugging Joseph's family some more, because you don't have anyone else who will play with you. Oh, Ooh, you tried coming for him and he went for your throat, Cove. You messed with the wrong bee. Ooh, you idiot. You thought he was a pushover. He destroyed you. Here lies the remains of Cove. Girl, go back home. Cove blinked. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't even know how to mention. It didn't seem like the kind of thing he'd get upset about, though you hadn't ever known what kind of thing would bother Shiloh. I'm sorry. Me too. I was just wondering. Let's build another sandcastle. You tried to plan your own. Are we gonna build more? In true kid fashion, they're arguing and I'm just like, are we gonna build more castles or what? Do you guys just want to go home? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm out here trying to build a effing sandcastle. If you guys aren't serious about that, get lost. Oh my god, I'm asking that. You want to keep building sandcastles?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cove glanced at Shiloh, whose smile hadn't returned to full power, then at you. Alright. What a relief. You were glad it was settled. You all went back to making more sand buildings, but the whole mood had changed. Shiloh's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown up. The air stayed uncomfortable the rest of the afternoon, right up to the moment that Shiloh's mom appeared at the beach to take him home. At least you tried to do something to resolve it though, and it seemed like it helped. Even though Shiloh's smile when he said goodbye to Cove wavered, it stayed as bright as ever for you. That had to count for something. But with Shiloh gone and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Cove to head to your own houses. You followed him as he made his way out of the sand. The walk home was quiet. You passed by familiar landmarks, shoes thumping against the sidewalks in near-perfect unison. Cove was clearly caught up in thinking about something. You contribute to the Sand Kingdom or you get out. You asked Cove what he was thinking. The prospect of asking made you nervous, but you did anyway. Hey, is everything, okay? Oh, I was just wondering. Cove fell silent again for a few more seconds, then sighed. Why'd Shiloh act like that when I said he was all red a lot? You were being rude, he's a baby, you shouldn't make fun of him. I don't know, it's just Shiloh. The dude is weird. He gets embarrassed, you shrugged at Cove, no answer to give. You were being rude to him. No, I wasn't. Okay, well, how about I slap the backside of your head and we see if you were rude then, okay? You wanna go there? We'll start hitting you until you disagree with me. I've done that before. I played La Vie en Rose. It looked like that to me, and it wasn't just saying that one thing. You're not very nice to Shiloh. I didn't mean it like that. Shiloh is kind of weird to talk to. Oh my god. See? That's kind of rude. I guess I can get it. Why he'd do that. Sometimes I get really mad too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cove's mood was still sour. What Shiloh said didn't make sense anyway. Parents always talk to other parents and set up stuff so their kids play together. My dad didn't do anything weird. You struggle not to make a face at that. His dad definitely did something weird to try and get you to spend time with Cove. But Cove didn't know that. Your dad does do stuff so you'll hang out with my family, but Shiloh shouldn't have said that. Let's go with the middle option. Cove's shoulders relaxed. You hadn't even noticed that he had tensed up. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Anyway, I knew the whole time Shiloh shouldn't have been saying things like that. You nodded, but you didn't speak. You kept your eyes firmly on the ground. By now, the two of you were on the sidewalk near your houses. It was time to part ways. Bye, Cove. Your parents hadn't planned anything else for you, though you knew that you'd see him eventually. Cove nodded, already turning away. Bye, Joseph. I did not think I'd be saying my own name this much when I changed it to Joseph. I was hoping I'd hear Cove saying it, but I don't think he says it until step 2 and 3. So this is kind of backfired a little. It's weird saying my own name. You made your way to your house at a leisurely pace, going up the driveway to get to the front door. Before you went inside, you looked back. Cove was halfway to his house, his hands shoved into his pockets. You still felt a little unsure with what you were supposed to do about the deal Cove's dad had offered. You didn't want to say something bad or something you shouldn't. You might change your mind sometime. There was always tomorrow after all, but for now it was definitely something that you'd kept to yourself. With a final look, you went inside your house. Alright. We built our sandcastle, and now our memory of it has disappeared apparently. There's literally nothing there. Like, what? Am I crazy? Oh, that's weird. What the? I'm looking at my stream capture, and it shows the sandcastle image. That's so weird. On my screen, where the sandcastle picture is, there's just a completely blank white square. But on my stream software, it shows the sandcastle still. That is weird, weird stuff. That's spooky ghost stuff. In fact, let's do the ghost DLC. Because I also bought the DLC. But yeah, that's some spooky... What is going on with my game? Anyway. The night was incredibly still. You couldn't ignore how silent it was. It was almost eerie. You could even hear Lizzie snoring in the next room. Over. It was hard to believe how much of a blur today was. Summer sure did slip right past you. Do we have a view of the entire town through our window? You flicked through the moments like pages in a scrapbook as you laid in bed. You thought a lot about what adventures you could have tomorrow until sleep started to catch up to you. Then you heard something scrape against the window. It wasn't that uncommon for the wind to push a tree branch against the glass. Summer breezes were the worst sometimes. But the more you tried to ignore it, the louder it seemed like it became. It was like something was trying to get your attention. You lifted your head off the pillow to get a better look. Nothing was there. Nothing you could see, at least. You went back to bed. It was your imagination. You investigate. We're investigating this. Girl, when I hear spooky noises, I go investigate. Ugh. You practically jumped out of bed and crept down the stairs to go outside. Your moms were still awake. They stayed up so late, it seems. Luckily, they were watching TV and didn't hear the soft click of the front door opening as you slipped past. You looked around the neighborhood for a few seconds, checking over each individual house. It looked normal, but didn't feel that way. You knew you weren't supposed to be out here right now. It was... Oops, I didn't mean to choose that. It was exhilarating and made you regret your decision. It scared you. It was exhilarating. Your chest was light and you couldn't keep the grin from your face. No one had permitted you to go out. In fact, no one even knew you were out, and yet you were here. You're so bad. Oh, we're gonna get spanked later for this. Ooh. You wondered what else you could do. What other rules were so ingrained that you had never even considered that they could be broken?
Joseph!
He said it there then, that was nice.
Joseph!
Why doesn't he say it more often? Why didn't he say it in the last moment?
Joseph! Joseph!
You twitched at the sudden call, immediately calming down upon seeing Cove walking up to you. It was strange and yet also completely normal to have him appear like this right now. What are you doing? I saw you standing around in the middle of the street from my window. You weren't sleeping either? Why not? Cove turned his lips to mine to smile, almost as if he were amused by the question. Because... Did you hear a weird noise? You should be in bed. I'm glad you're here. Did you hear a weird noise? Girl, I'm on a mission. You could tell you hit the nail on the head by the way his eyes widened. Yeah, you knew? I heard it too. That's why you came out, huh? Ko hesitated for a moment, looking down the street before his aquamarine eyes fell on you again. Did it scare you? Yeah, honey, why do you think I'm out here? Why do you think I'm out here playing Sherlock? Let's figure out what did this. Me too. I was kind of wondering if it was the wind, but what if it's not? What if it's a person? What if it's something that's not a person? The unsettling noise suddenly rushed through the air. Cove and you flinched. It sounds even worse than before. You might see your mom's doing something that might scar you sneaking around late at night? Oh my god. You mean we might see a beautiful act of love? Lesbian love. You were about to agree with him when the noise came yet again, tearing through the still night. The two of you rapidly looked around, trying to find the source, but to no avail. There was no sign of an answer to this puzzle. You thought that it could be anything. It had to be a ghost. There was a regular reason for it. It's a ghost, dude. Come on. Invisible, creepy thing luring children from their beds. It had to be a monster, or at least a child predator. The thought terrified you down to the bones, and you regretted leaving the safety of your nice warm bed. Hey, can you tell where it's coming from?
Not really.
Then we'll have to look more, somewhere else. Maybe we'll see. Okay, let's go. The two of you walked around the familiar streets of your neighborhood, sharing the sidewalk and small amount of courage you had between each other. Shadows cut corners and angles where you didn't expect them, distorting the features you saw every day. The noise came again, shrill and hard. It set your teeth on edge the way it ground its way through you. Cove's throat bobbed. His eyes glistened in the dim light. You stayed frozen to the spot. You took a deep breath to calm yourself. Let's hide behind Cove. Cove, you go first. With a noise that escaped you in a short shriek, you darted behind Cove, using him as a human shield. Cove made a startled yelp himself as you grabbed hold of the back of his shirt. Luckily, he didn't try to shake you off. Cove shut his eyes and pressed his lips together. You want to kiss now, Cove? I mean, okay.
So...
Where did you want to check? The hills behind my house, I guess? I don't know. Whatever. You and Cove ascended the hill. It lit only by the stars in the night sky. The wind rippled through the grass and ruffled your hair. Without the sun's light to translate what you were seeing, every bush in the distance looked like a creepy figure or a towering monster. The noise was just as loud here as it was in your neighborhood, with just as little indication behind the cause. But you kept going forward. Alright, you kept going forward. You couldn't stop and you had already gone so far. You had to find out what was going on. The top of the hill was an excellent vantage point to survey the town from everything... Wait. I read that wrong. Everything appeared normal. There was no out-of-place sight pinpointing the answer to this mystery. Without visible markers to guide your way, you supposed it was up to you and Cove to deduce the source of the sound. The hills had many great hiding places, and you intended to check them all. You upturned rocks, peered up trees, and rummaged in the thick grass for anything that might bring some closure in all of this. Despite your thorough searching, you turned up nothing amiss. You... Still glad you had come, or frustrated by the lack of progress. Wish you'd stayed in bed. I was glad I came, I guess. You always relished playing outside rather than being cooped up indoors. Can't relate. This had been a terrific excuse to go out and see the world in a different light. Literally. Well, whatever the noise was, you are confident that you had established that it's not coming from the hill. Once you were satisfied nothing out of the ordinary was to be found on the hill, you had to consider your next step. Let's see, you figured you'd check the park too, check the beach. Alright, let's check the park. The private playground was empty as ever. You could just about hear the mysterious sound if you were quiet, but it simmered down to a whisper. Cove was practically shaking when he realized it had progressed far enough to reach here. He swallowed hard, but faced you with a determined face. My dad says, good detective work starts at home. He watched a lot of crime shows, so maybe it could be good to look closely. Okay. The two of you swept through every corner of the park. No monkey bar, swing, or tire went unchecked. The two of you conducted your separate investigations without conversation. If you had found anything that might explain the noise, you would have brought it to the other's attention. At one point, Cove seemed to take an interest in something he'd found in the sand, but he pocketed it without showing it to you. You had exhausted all the possible places to search in the park. Straightening up, you mused over your next step. It's gone. What? Then you realized it. The noise, which had grown fainter and less frequent during your search, had died off completely. You and Cove shared puzzled looks, but neither of you had an answer for what had caused the mystery sound, or made it go away. You tried to hide a yawn behind your hands. We should go back home. The night was still as you walked home, with none of the usual background noises or the eerie whistle from before. You could hear every step you and Cove made like a cough in a movie theater. The two of you came to a halt outside your front door. Never before had it looked so ominous. You wrung your hands nervously. Would your absence have been noticed? Do you sneak out a lot? Lots. You were telling the truth. But earlier we had said that we just realized we even could do this, so how could that ever be the truth? Lots, you're lying. I do it pretty much every night. That's a lie. No. He chuckled to himself, not at all convinced. What does he know? Are you worried about getting caught?
No.
He was so forthright that you believed him completely. But your dad, won't he get mad or sad if he catches you? He's never happy with what I do. Oh. I ain't touching that. Stayed out of it. You sympathized. That must be hard. Yeah, he and Mom do what they want. Why shouldn't I? Alright, I'm going in.
Bye.
Hey, good night. Good night. You turn the doorknob as slowly as a clock's minute hand, holding your breath for the telltale click of the lock, and then nudged it open. When all that happened was the door opening, rather than blaring alarms that you'd feared, you melted with relief. Back inside your house, you were surprised to find your mom still watching TV. Weirder still, it looked like they were on the same show as they were before you left. You're positive you'd have been out investigating for hours. Girl, you weren't out there for hours, you're an idiot. Perhaps you could use their distraction to your advantage. If you could just get up the stairs, you'd be safe from suspicion. But how could you get there? Sneak pass? Walk in your own house nonchalantly. Let's sneak up there, girl. I ain't telling moms. I ain't telling my moms what I did. You hugged the walls, you creeped delicately around the perimeter of the room. It was a valiant effort that any spy would have been proud of, right up until the moment when you tripped over a power cord and nearly fell over. Joseph? You might not have fallen, but your accident ruined your cover. You had been spotted. They abandoned the couch and their show to hurry over. They were still in a state of surprise. You weren't in trouble yet.
Are you okay?
We gotta lie our way out of this one. This hijink. Oh my god, my queens are back though. What are you doing here, sweetie? Did you have a bad dream? You told the truth. Let's not answer. They're too afraid. Their surprise gave way to concern, and the two shared a look.
Sweetie.
Honey. Mom took you by the hand and led you up the stairs. Wait, did I skip one? No. Woof. Woof, your hand is cold. Why didn't you come over to us? I was supposed to be in bed. Joseph, you won't ever be in trouble for coming to us when you're frightened. We'd much rather you came to us than try to solve things all by yourself. Whoops, I already did that. Her phrasing made you feel bad. The nervousness ate at you as you were tucked into bed. Your mom's assured that you're flushing. Wait, your mom's assumed that your flushing and insistence on delving under the covers was part of your fear, and spoke to you softly until you calmed down enough to peep out from underneath your sheets. Once your moms had left, you turned over the night's adventure in your mind. It was still hard to believe that you had really done it. It was harder still to believe that you'd gotten away with it. Even now, you half expected to be caught somehow. Perhaps you'd left the door ajar or trailed sand where they'd already swept up. You wondered how Cove's dad handled his return. Cove hadn't been at all scared about his dad's reaction. Wiggling deep down underneath the sheets, your thoughts turned to what the noise could have been. Nothing had been solved tonight, but that wasn't so bad. There were a lot of mysteries in this world. No, what was the thing that Cove pocketed? He's hiding something. Your thoughts morphed into dreams, carrying you to more and more outlandish visions of what may lay behind the strange sounds. The next morning proceeded mostly like usual, though your mom seemed to be giving extra consideration since finding you last night. You later learned Cove didn't end up in trouble for the nightly escapade either. It was unclear whether that was because his dad chose not to punish him or if Cove got away with it. It was amazing to you that it all worked out for both of you. As for the sounds that started this all, the adults around were convinced it was nothing more than the wind. For your imaginative mind, that wasn't nearly enough. How could they accept something so simple so easily? Maybe it did make more sense when you were grown up too. Well, dang. Alright, let's just end it here.